Hi everyone, welcome to Math Tutorials 82, where we master together the skills that will set you up for success. So today our topic is going to be budgeting and basic algebra. So why is it important to know basic algebra? One of the reasons is how to budget your money. So the amount of money that you will actually think you will need during the month, how much you will actually use and save, and of course all this comes down to creating an equation for that, so using basic algebra. So we'll start with the month of March. So in March we have, let's check and see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 weekends and 1 extra weekend day. And during the week we have 5 weekdays, which in total would be 22. So having said that, weekdays we have a total of 22 days, and weekend days we have a total of 9 days. So let's create an initial equation. So 22 times x plus 9 times y equals the amount of money that we think we will need during the month, which right now we'll just set 400 as a test value. So what's x? X is the amount of money we will need for our everyday purchases made during the week, and y will be the amount of money we will need for our expenses during the weekend. So let's just say during the week you decide to have a snack, and we're going to say that's $10. That could be a brownie, a cookie, muffin, plus a soda or juice. And for lunch, let's just say, to put a value, $15, which includes the meal plus the drink of your choice. So that would be a total of $25 that you would require during each day of the week. And for the weekend, let's just say for Saturday, you like to spend some time having lunch or dinner with a friend, and that's going to be roughly $25, including ice cream or any dessert of your choice. And Sunday, you decide to go and watch a movie or do pay-per-view at home, but go to the grocery store to buy the snacks. And so let's just say that also costs $25. So in total, on the weekend, you're going to have a total expense of $50. So going into our initial equation, that means that during the week, you're going to spend, in March, 22 times 25, and that's equal to $550. For our weekend, that's going to be 9 times 25, and that's going to be a total of $225. So the initial value we thought was going to be enough for March is actually not so. Let's cross this out and set that up as $550 plus $225, which in total is $775. So we'll put a little note here saying our initial value was too low, just to do a little recap. Also, we're going to be changing this 9 because we're going to be placing each weekend as both Saturday and Sunday. So instead of 9, we'll use 4.5. So we'll also say here, weekend days have been joined together as one. So you might be saying, well, where's the saving potential here? So that's what we're about to dive into. So let's say during the month of March, where you have one Sunday, the first Sunday of the month, and you have 4 weekends, you do the following. So for that first Sunday, you decide to only spend time at a friend's house. That additional 4 weekends, you change your plans. So that first weekend, you have lunch with a friend, and you go see a movie. For that second weekend, you have a sleepover at a friend and watch pay-per-view. That third weekend, you do carts and also spend, let's say, do pay-per-view at home. And that fourth weekend, you decide just to stay at home. So this first Sunday of the month, you didn't spend any money because all the snacks, lunch, and everything was provided by your friend's parents. Let's say you go to lunch with a friend and go see a movie. Here you spent roughly $50. Here you sleep over at a friend and watch pay-per-view, but in this case, your friend's parents paid for the pay-per-view and they provided all the food, so you didn't have to pay anything. So you didn't spend any money that weekend. In carts, let's just say you spent $35 plus the $25 you just spent in pay-per-view, so that would be $60 in total this weekend. And that fourth weekend, you didn't do any activity, you just stayed at home watching movies, reading books, or whatever you like to do. And so in total, during the month of March, you spent $110. So we initially had budgeted $225, so we have a total savings of $125 due to you not having to go out to lunch or dinner with a friend every weekend, and also not going out to see a movie or doing pay-per-view at home every weekend. Now let's see during the week what happens. During the week, you decided to not have a snack every day. So by not having a snack, you can save roughly $220. And in case you decided to both take from home your lunch and snacks, so that way you don't have to buy anything every day, you have a potential saving of $550 by taking both lunch and snack from home every day. So we have a total savings of $125 and potential savings between $220 and $550. So that will be between $345 to $675, $660. Let's see. This one is $115. That's where. So this one's $115. it would be $665. So initially we thought we would need 775, but we noticed that we only actually needed we needed a whole lot less than that. So in total, what we actually needed was between $430 and $110 per month, or for the month of March. So let's do a little comment here. So although we budgeted for $775, we only needed between $110 and $430 for the month of March. So I hope this shows you how we can use algebra to our advantage, and see how we can make some savings in the process. So if you made it this far, you get 1 star. And following what we did before, I created using Basic Algebra, the equation for every single month of the year. So this way you can see that budgeting doesn't just involve doing it on a monthly basis, you can also do it on a yearly basis. So going into using those equations and placing them into our Excel spreadsheet, we said that our everyday expense is roughly $25, and we said that our weekend expense is roughly $50. So we get that $775 we had spoken about earlier. So doing that for every month of the year, we get that we'll need a total of $9,125 in order to be able to have lunch and a snack every day at school or at the work or whatever your situation is. And also during the weekend, we will need to be able to meet a friend, to have lunch or dinner, and to watch a movie or pay-per-view, we'll need $50 per weekend. But if we decide to take our, instead of, if we decide not to take lunch and a snack we decide not to purchase it every day, we can potentially go from $9,125 to $2,600. And if on the weekends we decide to spend a little bit less, let's just say half, we narrow that down to $1,300. So that's a lot of savings. So going back, if we have lunch and a snack every day, we pay for it, and we also spend $50 every weekend, that's how much money we're going to be spending or needing per year. So we have another thing called inflation. So if you were to do that same activity every single year, and just for sticking this far into the video, I'm going to award you 2 stars. And now the last part, inflation, interest rates, and percentages. So what is inflation? Inflation is the amount in percent that products go up in price. So for 2026, we said we would need $9,125, but inflation for 2025 was 3%. So we would need exactly $8,859.22 to be able to have lunch every day and a snack, and also spend or watch a movie and spend some time with a friend at lunch or dinner in 2025. If you wanted to do the same thing back in 2016, it would be roughly $6,501.26. And so as you can see, inflation rates have been very variable. So in 2016 it was 1.3, and back in 2022 it went all the way up to 8%. So it kind of shows you that you need to be able to not only budget on a yearly basis, but also long term, and see how that can affect your finances both this month, this year, and possibly in the future. So I hope you've enjoyed it thus far, and I guess I will see you in the next video.